Part 16 continues with Ben coming out of the mountain, learnt a new and stronger technique. Meanwhile, we see an old man who lost his one arm is returning to the palace, who was none other than Ben's actual grandfather. Another thing to mention, the man Ben called grandfather in Part 3 was not his real grandfather. Ben only referred to him that way. He is Ben's real grandfather, who had disappeared years ago while searching for beast blood to help Ben grow stronger. But everyone had assumed he was dead. The scene shifts to Ben in Stone Village, where he gives out treasures to children which were gifted to him by Mermaid as a thank you for helping her. Suddenly, the phoenix bird appears and questions why they are taking these treasures. He says they aren't very valuable. Then, he drops several treasures he had taken from Ben by mistake. Everyone starts laughing. Later, Ben sits before the tree god, showing him his new techniques. The tree god advises him to keep practicing so you can master it. Ben was happy listening to this and offers him a treasure bottle as a gift. But the tree god refuses, saying, "These treasures are only useful for humans. I don't need them." Then, the tree god tells Ben something shocking. He says, "Your real grandfather has returned and is still alive." Ben is both surprised and overjoyed. Meanwhile, back at the palace, Ben's grandfather arrives. The guards and everyone else were stunned to see him again. The news reaches the current king, Shang-Chi. 3 important figures from the royal family, including Vilgax's father, come to meet Ben's grandfather. Ben's grandfather immediately asks about his son, daughter-in-law, and grandson Ben. But the 3 men stay silent. His expression changes, he becomes furious. Sensing danger, the 3 quickly summon their spirit formations and ask him to calm down. But Ben's grandfather replies, "You tell me to be polite while preparing to attack me?" Without hesitation, he uses his power to seal and easily defeat them. Those 3 panic and try to escape, but he creates a barrier around them, trapping them inside. Then, he learns whole shocking truth from Ben's other grandfather who has been enslaved this whole time. First, he frees him. After that, he finds out that Ben's supreme bone was taken from him and given to Vilgax. Even worse, Ben's parents were also harmed. Enraged, Ben's grandfather glares at the 3 men saying, "You treated my family like this? Now, I'll show you no mercy." With a powerful strike, he slams Vilgax's father to the ground. He does the same to the other 2 as well, punishing them for their evil deeds. One of them say, "If you kill us, the king will never forgive you." Hearing this, Ben's grandfather doesn't hesitate. He raises his hand, forming a massive spiritual energy arm, and begins destroying the palace. At that moment, the current king, Shang-Chi, arrives. He was once Ben's grandfather's friend. Shang-Chi quickly speaks, "I became king after all this happened. I couldn't stop it. But you don't have to destroy the palace. Let them go." Ben's grandfather replies coldly, "If my own son had done this, I wouldn't have forgiven him. So why should I forgive them?" Shang-Chi realizes there's no reasoning with him. He grits his teeth and attacks with a powerful spirit formation. Ben's grandfather counters with a massive weapon, ready for battle. Shang-Chi uses his dragon formation. Ben's grandfather counters with the supreme golden eagle technique, shattering Shang-Chi's attack completely. Shang-Chi refuses to give up and charges at Ben's grandfather for close combat. But he was no match for his strength. Both summon dragon spirits to attack each other, but Ben's grandfather's dragon is much stronger and crushes Shang-Chi's dragon spirit. Shang-Chi falls to the ground, defeated. Everyone who were watching, stunned by Ben's grandfather's power. Lying injured, Shang-Chi admits defeat and says, "If you want the throne, take it." Ben's grandfather replies, "I didn't come here to take your place. I came to teach all of you a lesson. I'll spare you this time, but next time, there will be no mercy." Suddenly, the sky brightens. A man appears from the clouds. He speaks firmly, "How dare you harm him?" Ben's grandfather turns to him and says, "So, you want to die too?" The man shakes his head with a little smile and says, I'm not here to fight but to make peace. Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. Name an addiction worse than alcohol and drugs. Watching reels while sitting on toilet seat. I'm a VIP, which stands for very ignored person. Pause and read this for a second. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. He is actually the king of the U clan. Ben's grandfather looks at him and asks coldly, "Who are you, coming here to die by my hands?" Without a word, the U clan king, Victor, launches an attack. But Ben's grandfather easily counters his strikes, overpowering him with little effort. Realizing the difference in strength, still Victor grits his teeth and declares, "Even if you're strong, I will still help Shang-Chi." Ben's grandfather narrows his eyes and asks, "Why would you help them?" Victor replies, "I was sent here by one person to handle your family matters." Just then, another person appears, named Frank. He greets Ben's grandfather with a smirk and says, "Uncle, it's been a long time. How have you been?" Ben's grandfather replies, "I was fine, but after coming here, I see many problems." Then Ben's other grandpa steps forward and tells Frank, "You should ask forgiveness for what you've done to Ben and his family." But Frank replies, "What's done is done. We can't change the past, so there's no point bringing it up again." Ben's grandfather's eyes darken and he says, "So, you think I should stay silent? After everything my children have suffered? And agree with whatever you say?" Victor interrupts, saying, "Vilgax is far too powerful. Your grandson will never be able to defeat him." Hearing this, Ben's grandfather replies, "Those who talk big are usually the weakest." Victor laughs mockingly, then says, "I'll show you how wrong you are. I'll kill you right here, and you won't even be able to save yourself." But Ben's grandfather remains unfazed and says, "No matter what tricks you try, you won't be able to kill me." Victor's expression darkens and he tells, "I'll surely take revenge for Vilgax's mother's death by killing you and your whole family." With that, he pulls out a dragon spirit bottle and summons several swords, sending them flying toward Ben's grandfather. But Ben's grandfather blocks them effortlessly using his black hand formation. Victor grits his teeth and unleashes lava from the bottle. Once again, Ben's grandfather destroys the attack with ease. Victor's eyes widen in shock. Ben's grandfather shakes his head, saying, "You're still too weak. Come back when you're strong enough to fight me." Terrified, Victor turns and flees back to his clan. But Ben's grandfather follows him and says, "Do you think running home will save you?" Desperate, Victor calls his soldiers, asking for help. But the soldiers hesitate, because of Ben's grandfather's overwhelming power. Ben's grandfather glares at Victor while saying, "You are a disgrace to your clan." And now, it ends here. Then he summons a spirit bow and arrow, and begins destroying the Victor's palace. The soldiers, seeing Victor's fate, take him and flee. Meanwhile, a mysterious girl is shown watching everything. At the same time, Frank returns, this time with his master, Bill. Bill observes Ben's grandfather with a smirk, starts saying, "Your skills are quite good. Why not become my assistant? I'll support you and teach you even stronger techniques." Ben's grandfather raises an eyebrow and says, "Your techniques are quite impressive too. Why don't you become my servant instead?" Bill's smile vanishes, and he flares up in anger. He summons a massive shield, trapping Ben's grandfather inside. Then, he orders Frank to leave. Ben's grandfather asks, "Why are you trapping me? I would never run like a coward from you." Then Bill launches a powerful attack, but Ben's grandfather counters it. Frustrated, Bill uses extreme freeze technique, attempting to freeze Ben's grandfather. But no use. Ben's grandfather then summons his spiritual chains to stop his moments, but he breaks free. Realizing brute force won't work, Bill activates a special trap, sealing Ben's grandfather inside. For a moment, it seemed like he was trapped. But then, with a powerful strike using his black and white combination spears, he shatters the trap. Bill, surprised, asks him, "You lost one hand on that mountain. Then how can you still fighting against me?" Ben's grandfather unleashes his extreme lion beast technique to attack Bill. But Bill manages to defend himself, then Ben's grandfather lands a powerful kick, sending him flying. Enraged, Bill transforms into a giant spider blood beast and attacks him using his poisonous venom techniques. But Ben's grandfather remains unharmed. He retaliates with his fire bird technique. Part 17 will come soon, and if you don't want to miss out, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more amazing parts in future. Thanks for watching.